Bite dust. Bite dust.
All you left me was the radio, and it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. But I can't turn it off cause it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And it goes like turn it off cause it's the truth. 그늘 속에 감춰진 빛 우린 둘 춤추며 노래하네 한 손으로는 잔잔한 리듬을 타고
Huh?
다른 손으로는
Hello?
꿈을 만들어가네
What?
세상이 멈춰버린 듯
How are you doing, Steph?
시간에
I am mentally tired. How are you doing?
You're mentally tired? I'm also tired. I don't know if it's mental or not.
Right?
Why? Why is your volume change from one speech act to the next?
Why does my volume change from
Yeah.
one speech act to the next?
Yeah, how come when you say I'm
Hey.
mentally tired, it's loud, and when you say, okay, it's quiet?
I don't know. Is it still quiet or is it loud now?
Now it's loud, so I'm turning it down, but I was turning it up earlier, and then... What did you do yesterday?
What did I do yesterday?
Turning it up a little bit because it's quiet.
Yesterday, I walked around the town that I'm in. Let's see. I went to the UPS store
Okay.
and then the hardware store.
I think it's stable now,
and then-
volume-wise.
Okay.
But except when you said okay just now, it was quiet.
Okay.
And this one was a little bit louder, I guess. I don't know if I turned it up or not. I guess it's as good as it's gonna get.
All right.
Let me switch. Oh, let me share my screen. I guess it's mentally. I'm very mentally tired.
Okay.
I'm messing everything up. How's the
You're
VTuber
messing
look?
everything up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started the stream with the wrong title. Do you want to continue your story, or you don't really want to continue your story?
I didn't have a need to tell you what I did yesterday.
Yeah, but maybe you want to, or maybe you actively don't want to. I don't know which you want.
I don't care.
All right. VO3 just got released. You heard about that?
What got released?
VO3.
I don't know what that means.
So there's a product whose name is VO3, and it just got released.
Okay. Good.
I guess you didn't hear about that.
Bad?
What?
I said that good, but then I was like, well, maybe it's bad.
Yeah, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad.
Yeah.
Are you able to see my
Those are my
screen?
thoughts. I'm able to see your screen.
All right, let's take a look at some VO3 demos from TikTok.
Okay.
Google VO3. This is AI generated. This is also AI generated. If I can.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
I always know what I'm doing.
So a lot of video generators previously would generate video but not sound, for example, right? Or you give it the sound, and it might generate video on top of that. But it couldn't do text to both video and sound, but now they can, and now it's pretty high quality, the stuff it produces.
That seems bad.
Mink coat dragging while I sweep these streets. Retired, not tired, still bringing that heat.
I'm Bert Snarky, and everything is on fire.
Yeah, I don't know that I would be able to tell that was
Right.
all this stuff was AI, right?
Right.
It looks real to me. Well, I mean, it could
And
be
just like that,
professional,
Dale,
I guess.
party-ready fingers in
Like-
seconds. No more boring breadsticks.
Absolutely, Sandra. And the kids can finally play with their food before they eat it.
And that's when I knew I was going to be able to count higher than everyone else.
Why do I have the memories of a human child? Why do I dream of a woman named Gloria?
Shit, so sorry, y'all. He does that sometimes.
Like if the images weren't fantastical, right? Like the guy having so many fingers or the throat thing, I might think it's real.
Right.
And since it's fantastical, I'm like, oh, a professional
fucking ghosts.
professional Hollywood studio
Tired
made
of
this
quiet
video
objects? Get to say it loud in Westwood.
with live
Drink,
actors.
Knife,
Right?
ball, hand, hat, drink, shoes, ball, spoon, book.
As you can see, it's still here. Oh, God. I don't want to look at it again. I can't.
Final checks complete. Technician Davis, are we ready to make history?
Probably fucking not.
Hey.
I wish he'd just fall down. It's weird that he doesn't.
Contestant from Earth you have. Incomprehensibly. Advance to round 2.
Mrs. Peely, you've got chalk on your forehead.
I've got chalk more places than that.
Oh, you got
Seems terrible.
Chalkra says I gotta mention. Yeah, they did say chalk. There's Google. So this is Google VEO3, I guess. I'm not sure the pronunciation. VEO3. They have another thing. Google also, they're saying their Gemini agent thing is going to be integrated. They're releasing it to like smartphones and smart glasses or whatever, so people are going to have access to the new model. And
Right.
they have this demo. I guess I'll play first and then I'll do my commentary afterwards.
Can help you with?
What's this skinny building doing in my neighborhood?
It's a street light, not a building.
Why are these palm trees so short? I'm worried about them.
They're not short. They're actually pretty tall.
Sick convertible.
Garbage truck again. Anything else?
Why do people keep delivering packages to my lawn?
It's not a package, it's a utility box.
Why is this person following me wherever I walk?
No one's following you. That's just your shadow.
So what's your take on that demo?
Like, what are we supposed to do with life? Is everything as we know it just dead? Like,
Why
are
is that
we-
your reaction to that demo?
I like now we can't go outside and know things. Like we have to have the chatbot with us outside. We can't talk to other people. We're talking to the chatbot. And
Oh,
it's like
there is another
way
demo with
better than
that,
any human
but
companion could be.
I don't have it on my list, which is the live translation, right? Like for example,
Right.
let's say you and I, we don't speak a common language, but like we're meeting in
Right.
person, but and we're wearing our smart glasses, right? So you talk to me,
Yeah.
and then but I hear it in, let's say you're talking to me in Spanish, but I hear it in English because my smart glasses has the earbuds or whatever, and then I reply to you, and you hear me in Spanish,
Right, but then I'm using ChatGPT to create what I say, and then it's speaking to your chatbot. And like, why don't we just let the chatbots like
Yeah,
do it with each other?
that might
And
be-
like, all humans should just give up.
I mean, there is probably going to be more chatbot to chatbot or more AI to AI communication, and like as middlemen or intermediaries between human interactions. And you're seeing it as a bad thing. I don't necessarily know that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing either. But like there are good applications, like scheduling an appointment for something, right? It's like my chatbot has my calendar. Right? So just figure it out and schedule a time for a doctor's appointment for me, so that I don't have to be on hold. I don't have to be on the call, and so my AI talks to the doctor's AI, and they figure it out, right?
I mean, I guess, like, we're creating such frictionless lives that the Wall-E future is not far off.
Yeah, and I don't think
At that point,
I know
the
Wally
AI
is
should just
they're
harvest
portraying it
us
as
for our
bad,
oil.
but I don't know that it's bad necessarily.
Why do you not know that it's bad?
Well, what's bad about it?
A life devoid of meaning and purpose and genuine striving and value and human connection and
Yeah, that's basically life right now. So it's no worse than the current, like, and but at least it's like hedonistic, right? So it's like a improvement over the current situation.
if hedonism were the goal.
It's not necessarily the goal. Like it, if everything is equal except that it's a little bit nicer, then that's a little bit nicer.
It's easier.
Okay, fine. If everything is the same except that one is a little bit easier.
People are not happy without any kind of challenge.
Yeah, but the AI can just give you artificial challenges, right? Games, basically.
I don't think that will make humans happy.
Well, it's not. I don't know that it's going to make them unhappy. That's why I'm saying I don't know that it's bad.
Well, let's just do it and find out. Why not? It could be bad, but it might not be, so fuck it. Let's all just pursue it anyway.
Yeah, I feel like
no one knows.
I feel like that's a straw man,
Why not?
right? But that's not the argument that I'm presenting.
What is the argument that you're presenting?
That I don't know that it's bad. Not therefore we should do it. In fact, like, I don't know that it's bad. To me, the conclusion you should draw from that is like, therefore, let's be careful before we do it, because what if it's bad? But like, more specifically, it also means like people say it is going to be bad. There's the like, well, how do you know that? Like, what's the evidence in favor of that?
Like, literally going outside is the evidence. Watching humans not engage with the world, like being these passive, hunch-postured, pacifier-sucking babies outside, unable to look someone in the eye, have a conversation, know something, experience something without streaming it live to the web. Those of us who have been alive long enough, like, just going out like that is, for me, that is tautologically bad. Like, I guess you could argue, like, maybe they're happier or maybe that's great or something, but like, I look at that and I'm like, that is bad. I don't think heading in that direction is better. It's sort of like if I step on my ankle and it hurts, like, you can't see the badness or might not agree with me or whatever, but like, my experience is like, that's bad. I don't want to keep going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, you listen multiple things, some of which I think are bad, and some of which I think are, I don't know what the word is, the fear of change, perhaps. That's like typical of, when the younger generation does something differently than the way the older generation does it.
I don't think so, but sure.
So, I mean, if you want to get into it, you slow down, list the changes one by one, and we can talk about each one individually. But, Luigi says, what's up? I've spent the last 6 hours staring at feathers. How are you three lovely chaps doing? How are we three lovely? Oh, do you mean Chaka as well? We're apparently...
Are we staring at feathers?
Steph and I are both tired. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, like, that has nothing to do with AI, right? But it also fits your description of infantile, hunched over, not making eye contact, and so on.
It isn't.
Yeah, it just did. Like, you're not making eye contact when you're staring at feathers. You're probably hunched over when you're looking at feathers. And so that's what I'm saying by your description. Some of it is bad, but some of it is neutral. Like looking at feathers is neutral, right? Or possibly even good. Maybe indicates some nice introspection, curiosity, that sort of stuff.
I asked why they were looking at feathers.
Yeah, I know. Leisure says, I've been editing wings flapping like an animation. I'm scared of how literal Naboo took it. I mean, what I'm doing is, Steph said like she listed a bunch of adjectives, I guess. Maybe adjectives isn't the right word. Maybe noun infinitives is, and she's saying, and this is evidence of what's wrong with the way society's headed. And I'm saying it's not necessarily wrong because these noun or infinitives or whatever describe what Luigi was doing. And it's not a bad thing what Luigi was doing. Or at least I don't know for now. Like maybe if we get more details, it might turn out to be bad, but it's not a priori obvious that it's bad. Okay, so that was I guess that was Steph's comments. My comments. The thing I wanted to highlight in this video is I don't know what their intent was with this demo, but I suspect it was to show resistance to sycophancy. Right? Like the user was continuously making mistakes and the AI was correcting the user.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Sean says,
I don't know what you mean by resistance to sycophancy. Like you're suggesting like that's an odd way to use that. Like I don't know who the words the resistance is being applied to, so I don't know whether to agree or disagree.
To the human in the demo, right? The demo was an interaction between a human and an AI.
And you think that Google was like showcasing that it is resistant, or that it's displaying resistance, or that you should be resistant, or
that
what?
I think it was showcasing that the AI is resistant and is displaying resistance, but not necessarily that you as the consumer of the product should be resistant.
Okay.
Right, because in the past with LLMs, you could sort of bully it into accepting whatever you say. Right, like when she said like these trees are short, and the AI was like, no, actually they're pretty tall. I feel like in the past you could, like if with ChatGPT or something, you could say, no, I think they're pretty short, and then the LLM would be, oh, I guess you're right, they are short.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. Funky Tron said, "Hey, Nibu, hi Steph, hi Funky Tron, how's it going? 4 days. What's happened in 4 days, Luigi? You heard Steph about the Trump coin dinner thing?
No.
So you know that Trump has a meme coin. First, I don't know how far back to go, but like, so okay, you do know that Trump has a meme coin.
Yes.
He announced that the top N people, maybe it's 20 people, I don't remember, the top 20 holders of the meme coin will be invited to the White House for a private dinner or something like that.
Is that a blatant violation of the emoluments clause?
I don't know what that clause is, but it is. A lot of commentators have said it's pretty much bribery, so maybe that's what you're getting at.
Right.
So yeah, probably. Right.
Okay. Cool.
There was a lot of some of it what's the word, facetiously, snarkily, like talking about how this is another instance of crypto bringing democratization, right? Like it used to be difficult to bribe politicians. You would have to like meet up with them somehow, and you can't just like hand them a bag of money, right? Like how do you do this? But now Trump can just like, generate out of thin air Trump coins, right? And then sell them on the market, and people can just buy them. And with the crypto wallet listings, you can prove how much of Trump coin you have. So you can find out who are his top 20 purchasers and then do things for them, right? Even though, nobody directly handed him money in that sense.
Right. Which is one of the primary criticisms against cryptocurrency, is that it is so ripe for bribery.
Is it? I never heard
that.
Medium
for bribery.
I've never heard that criticism of cryptocurrency until like the Trump thing.
Oh.
I heard the thing that it was useless, right? Like that it's all made up. It's fake. That's the common criticism I hear.
Oh, that's weird because all money is fake.
Yeah, that's my usual counter argument to that criticism. First of all, but the thing is, it's not persuasive, right? Like, because as a person's lived experience, they perhaps subjectively and perhaps incorrectly feel like they can do things with money that they can't do with crypto.
I don't think I'm often trying. I think you go into forums where you try to convince random people of your argument. I don't spend a lot of time doing that, so I don't know if it's persuasive or not. The people that I have seen make coherent published criticisms of cryptocurrency have pointed less to its social constructed nature and more to its use for illicit purposes, including bribery.
Illicit purposes, yes. Bribery, no, from me. Like who was being bribed with crypto previously?
I think it was less that they were. It was more just like this was an obvious next use for it. Or, making donations to campaigns in exchange for quid pro quo.
Okay. I'm interested if you can send me your things, because either they're super prescient, or this happened. This is like retroactive. Like this happened after the Trump stuff already started happening, right?
No. I don't even think I'd be able to cite my sources because they're all like stuff I read years ago. I mean, I could try and look and see if I have anything saved, but
okay. So the reason I bring it up now is I'm one of the things that interests me, and I maybe it doesn't interest you so much, Steph, so I apologize about this, is all the maneuvers that are possible in finance, right? Like all these clever tricks. And so the one that's relevant right now is how to get to Trump's dinner for free, which is do you know about shorting? How to short something? What that means?
I know what it means. I don't know how it would get me.
So what does it mean for our viewers who might be unaware?
To short something is like to kind of. I'm trying to think of to bet against it, basically.
Yeah, usually it implies you think it's going to go down, so you're betting that it's going to go down.
Right.
So you make money, like if you short a stock, for example, so traditionally when you buy a stock, you're hoping it goes up. So you buy it at a certain price. You buy it at $100, the stock goes up. You sell it at $200, so you've made money, so you're happy. If you short a stock, that means being long on the stock. If you short a stock, you're hoping it goes down. So how does this work mechanically? So what you do is you buy the stock from someone else, and you promise to return it to them. So you're borrowing the stock, basically. You're borrowing the stock from someone else. Let's say it's $100 right now, right? So you borrow from someone else, and then you immediately sell it. So you get your $100. then let's say it goes down to $50, right? You agree to return it to the original owner in like a year or something like that. So next year it's $50. So then you buy the stock back at $50 and you give it back to him. So you made money in that, right? Because you got $100 when you sold it initially. It went down, you bought it at a cheap price and you gave it back.
Right.
So the mechanic here is you buy a lot of Trump stock at whatever it costs. Let's say it costs $100. And then you short an equal amount of that Trump stock. So let me get some notepad here, I guess. You buy Trump at $100, right? Trump coins. Then you also short dollar Trump. So what happens at this point is you spent $100 to buy the Trump coin. So now you have one Trump coin, right? I forget the currency conversion, right? These are example numbers. Then you borrow a Trump coin from somebody. So now you have 2 Trump coins, but you've lost $100, right? But then you sell the one that you borrowed to get back your $100. So now you have one Trump coin for free, quote unquote, but you're supposed to return it at a later date, right?
Okay.
Then May 12th passed. May 12th is the deadline that Trump said. He says, whoever has the most Trump coin on May 12th gets invited to my dinner.
Okay.
Well, May 12th passed. He writes down, oh, Nebu has the most Trump coin. Then you return the Trump coin back to the original person. Now.
Gotcha. So you get Burger King for free.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And this is where, like, why are these financial geniuses? Like, they find all these moves that I never see. You know, it's the same. And it's sort of apt here that you see one of my recommended videos is that Magnus Carlsen. Because Steph and I, we saw that video before, right? Where I said, look at this brilliant chess move out of nowhere. You know, he wins by a technicality and nobody would. It's the same appreciation I have here. Where it's like, it's brilliant. Gotcha. You get invited to Trump dinner. It's like, I have the most Trump coins. I have trillions and trillions of Trump coin, which I got for free.
Right.
Right. And now I get invited to Trump's dinner.
Right.
So yeah, that's the type of stuff that interests me.
Okay.
Related, another boring thing for Steph maybe, but that I also find fascinating. There's a company called Unicoin. Which is a company, I guess, related to a meme coin which is also called Unicoin. I think it's supposed to be a portmanteau of like unicorn and coin, basically.
More like an eggcorn.
Eggcorn?
An eggcorn or like a mondegreen when a word kind of sounds similar to another word.
Yeah, I guess
like how eggcorn sounds similar to acorn.
You would have to look at the etymology of why they named it that, I guess.
Right.
Was it because they were trying to combine 2 words?
Suggests, right, that they were trying to combine 2 words and...
Yeah, or were they just trying to say, we have this one word and we want it to sound similar. So we'll never know, I guess. We don't know the intents of the people who came up with it. Anyway.
Fantastic.
When as a company, public company, you're supposed to file forms with the SEC, which I don't remember what that stands for.
Securities Exchange Commission?
Yeah, that sounds right. And one of the things you do is you're supposed to list all the risks of your company, so that if you don't do it, then your shareholders can sue you for saying you didn't tell us, that we were defrauded because we thought we were unaware that you did these bad things, but they weren't in your SEC filing. And so we bought your stock, and it turns out that you did do those bad things, and now we got scammed, so we're suing you. So the idea is you have to report in your filing, here are all the bad things we do, so that so to prevent those sort of lawsuits. And I think one of them, an interesting one from a while ago, was I think it was Walmart, who they said one of the risks they listed, just to give a flavor of like a normal risk, because we're gonna look at a weird one in a moment. But although this one's a little bit weird, also the Walmart one is that they said occasionally they run promotional campaigns, but it's impossible to predict how the public will react to those campaigns, and it's possible that those campaigns may screw up and upset customers, which would lower our profits and thus lower the stock price, right? Like that's an example risk that they might list. And the reason it's weird is because I think it was Republicans, I'm not sure, but they sued Walmart for doing like gay pride promotion advertising, because they said like, because obviously everybody hates gay pride, and by doing that, you know, your people are going to boycott your stuff, and then you're going to lose money. And Walmart's argument was, no, we listed in our filing that this is a possible risk, right? Some people might not like the marketing we do, but they still have to go to court over it anyway, and then blah blah blah. Anyway, so this one, Unicoin, their executives. Here, let me just read it, or I'll bring it over here to read out together, because I don't think I can summarize it better than the way it's written here. Unicoin's executives talk like stereotypical crypto promoters, making exaggerated claims about the value of their tokens, how it revolutionized finance, how many people had bought it. Fine, normal. But then Unicoin was also, for no real reason, publicly filing very sober and normal SEC reports with audited financial statements that deflated all those claims. On that side of things, Unicoin was such a normal, well-managed company that its 10K included a risk factor about how sometimes it says untrue things about its tokens. And then this is an excerpt of their filing. Certain communications and marketing materials have incorrectly stated the regulatory status of Unicoin, which could cause market confusion and expose the company enforcement actions by the regulatory authorities, such as the Securities and Exchange Commissions, if such statements are deemed to be materially misleading, and so on. I won't read the rest. But like what I find baffling and interesting about this is that they in their SEC filing, they say, you know, we lied.
By the way,
and that might get us in trouble with the SEC. Like, like what a crazy thing to put into your filing. Like what?
Yeah. It's because nobody reads these. It's probably because they had ChatGPT like come up with it, and ChatGPT was like, I don't know if you guys know, but luckily no one reads it.
What this made me think about when I read this, I'm like, this is obviously securities fraud, right? Not because Unicoin lied. No, not that part.
Right.
See, the shareholders knew that Unicoin lied. Right. What they didn't know is that Unicoin was going to admit to lying with the SEC, which would get them in trouble, which would lower their stock price, and so we were deceived. We bought your stock thinking that you wouldn't admit that you were lying, but you did admit you were lying. Like, so Unicoin should have disclosed that they would disclose that they were lying, right?
Did they perhaps disclose we are unusually honest in our filings to the Securities Exchange Commission?
Yeah, let us know next time before you're going to admit to the SEC that you're going to lie, that you're going to admit to lying before you go buy your stock.
Right. I just feel like it should come up in a background check.
I'm glad you like that one, because you were laughing a little bit about that one.
It's funny.
I
appreciate irony as much as the next reader.
It's tough sometimes for me to predict what you know, the things that I find amusing I send to you, and some of them you find amusing, some of them you don't, and I haven't cracked the pattern yet, you know.
Some of them are funny and some of them aren't.
Yeah, it's tough for me to figure out.
Yeah. Just send me the funny ones.
Paul Niehaus, co-founder of Give Directly.
Oh, okay.
So Give Directly is a charitable organization, not to be confused with Give Well, which is a different organization.
Okay.
Give Well is a charity evaluator, right? They look at a bunch of charities and they say, this one, these are the particularly really good ones. One of them is the Against Malaria Foundation, which is why that's a charity I tend to support. Like I made it sort of I don't know what the right word is, the mascot charity of this channel, right? Because donating $1 to that charity tends to do more good than donating $1 to almost any other charity. It gets fuzzy because people have different values, right? Like how much do you value animal welfare versus starving kids in Africa or whatever, and so on.
Right.
But like, there are even like, reasonable people might disagree on their values, but like there's a sense of like what's a reasonable value and what's unreasonable. Like if you say like, I really love my Harvard mascot and I want to pay for to replace the material for his costume so he looks nice. Most people would agree like that's probably not as valuable as like the kids in Africa, for example, right? So you can, even with that fuzziness, you can still put it on a scale, and so that's why it's hard to say that the Against Malaria is the best one, but it's up there. Give Directly, what they do is they give money directly to poor people.
Right.
And so I saw he was in an interview. He was one of the co-founders, this Paul guy, and I found his comment here on metrics very interesting. About how wait, why did my browser freeze? I'm trying to drag some window over, but it froze and now I can't drag it over. What the heck? Oh, here it is. We interviewed a guy who was part of the basic income project that we were doing and had worked as a security guard in a town to earn money and send money back to his family, and then who lived in that village. And then when he started getting transfers meaning like, that's what they call the donations, right? When someone from a rich country donates to Give Directly and then Give Directly transfer it to this guy. That's what he's referring to. We started getting transfers. He quit that job and moved back, going to live in the village, earn less money, but see his kids more often. Again, that's going to look like an income reduction in the data that we typically collect. It's because we aren't that great at measuring things like the quality of your relationships with your kids, which are what I think actually matters in life. So I just think it's super, super important to take all the measurements, the outcome stuff with a grain of salt, and with that humility, that's sort of trying to remember that people's own views on what they want out of their lives are very important, even if we take that Sunyan perspective. Yeah, so to give a bit of background on that, I think is one of the philosophies behind Give Directly is that you want to let the person, like who's receiving the donations, choose what is the most valuable thing to them, right? Like Against Malaria gives people mosquito nets. They don't give them money to buy mosquito nets, right? And it's possible that there's a person who's like, I don't need a mosquito net. I need food. Like, this is useless to me. Don't give me the mosquito nets, you know? And so the argument Give Directly is saying is, so you just give them money and then they buy whatever they want with it. And one of the metrics they use to judge their success is like, do we see people investing in themselves and lifting themselves out of poverty, right? Like maybe they take the money and then they use it to start a business or open a factory or something like that, right? And then you would see that person then escape poverty and become self-sufficient, as opposed to like, the person buys drugs and beers and then makes their life worse or something like that. And so he's saying like, there are anecdotes like this, right, where the metric shows that we did something bad, quote unquote, like, his income went down. But when you, like, as a human, evaluating the anecdote, you say, well, maybe this is good because this reveals his preferences, right? He'd rather make less money and spend time with his kids than make more money.
Right. And not just his preferences, but like values and things that are difficult to measure. Like that might make an intergenerational gain of so much more. The fact that these kids no longer have an absent father, but that's going to be very hard to capture in the data.
Right.
Right. I give to both Give Well charities and to Give Directly.
You're diversifying your risks, right? When you show up in heaven and God is like, or St. Peter's, it's like, why didn't you donate to this charity instead of that charity?
Iodine. Yeah. No, I'm not actually. What I'm doing, it's actually much more effective to just give all your money to one specific charity, right? Rather than to split it up the way that I do. But what I do is I know that giving makes me feel better. And so what I try to do is anytime I get the impulse to give, or anytime I get um, irritated or like
So like
feeling sort of
every
bad, I'll just
Thursday
sort of
after stream, when you need to clear out all that irritation,
immediately, yeah.
yeah, immediately open up
I'm
Give
like, let's
Well or
save
Give
the sea
Directly, and
turtles. Yeah, yeah. I'm responsible for that guy going to spend more time with his children, is what I'm saying. You're responsible, actually. No. Um, yeah, so I've just decided to kind of impulsively give money whenever I want, whenever I get a feeling to do it. And I try and do sort of a mixture of targeted giving through charities that have been shown to really make a high level of impact, like the and Against Malaria Foundation or things like that, and give directly, and whatever charity's in front of me in the moment. Like they're like,
like the Harvard
"Oh, do you want to
mascot
save the
one.
birds?" Not the Harvard mascot one. That would
Okay.
never tug at my heartstrings. But like like I'll be using the Merlin Bird app to identify bird song or something, and it'll be like, do you want to give some amount of money to make this app continually available to the public for free? And I'm like, hell yeah, I do.
I like your sound effect, your money shooting sound effect.
Yeah, my money. I shoot money at them.
Checker just redeemed Save a Child's Life in real life. Every time someone does that, we donate $5 to the Against Malaria Foundation, which provides mosquito nets to children at risk of malaria, so you just save a child's life in real life. Fucking Charm asked Harmony about a question. If Twitch streamer Nebupukins were an animal, any animal, what animal would he be and why? Can you be specific and detailed? And Harmony Bot replied, if Neb were an animal, I'd say he'd be a clever fox. Foxes are known for their intelligence, adaptability, and playful nature, much like Neb's gaming skills and his lighthearted flirting. Plus, they have a mischievous... That's what it said! Plus, they have a mischievous charm that matches Neb's Casanova vibe. That's also what it said. I'm literally just reading it here. Just imagine him in a cute little fox avatar navigating through games with that signature smirk. What do you think?
Oh, man.
What do you think, Steph? Because
somebody
Fucking Sean says
that in.
Would you agree? Question mark.
Oh my god. Slow Loris.
Yeah, I was also thinking of sloth, but maybe I was thinking of sloth because you said when you were saying slow Loris.
Yeah.
You incepted it in me, I guess, the idea.
Right.
Same guy, Paul Neilhouse. Now, it's part of this long interview I was reading about him. I just took these two excerpts, which I found interesting. So the interviewer was like, hey, how do you feel about the fact that Give Well does not rank Give Directly as one of its top charities? And I was like, what the heck? This is such an antagonistic question, right? Like, what a sick burn or whatever. But Paul didn't take it that way, apparently, and he took it pretty graciously, which surprised me, which is why I captured this quote and this. So Paul says, I think when we set out to start Give Directly, we said cash transfers surely are not the only thing that we should be spending global development money on. But what's missing when you look at the sector is a bit of a gut check of like, okay, I think I have a good idea. I think I have evidence. I have all the stuff. Am I confident that I'm better at spending this money than the person who's actually there living it, dealing with it, and knows what they need perhaps better than I do? And so I just really appreciate that GiveWell have sort of baked that into the way they now evaluate other organizations and sort of the way they think about the world. And I think it's really good and really important to have an organization like GiveWell that's out there saying, what can we do that's actually better than what people living in extreme poverty could do for themselves? So he's presenting, I don't know if this is an accurate reflection of what GiveWell does, but he's saying that Give Directly acts as a baseline for GiveWell, right? He says, like, don't even waste your time with charities that do worse than Give Directly.
Right.
And he's acting, I guess, like a bar raiser in that sense, right? Like, he's saying, like, Give Directly sets a bar, and then, like, if charities can surpass the bar, then great, right? Give to them.
Right. If for some reason there are problems of collective action or efficiency or distribution or something like that poor people can't do on their own, like, great, right?
Well, not great, but like good. Like, that's where we should focus our attention to. Yes.
That's where we should focus, exactly.
Like, the idea is, like,
a lot of times, Yeah.
even if you get like a malaria net costs about $5, right? That includes like shipping it across. Like you have to make it in the factory, you have to ship it on a boat to Africa, then you have to like drive it in a van, I guess, from the boat to the specific person, in their village in Africa, and give it to them. So $5.
Right.
But if you give $5 to that person, it's hard for them to then go out and buy malaria net, right? Like there's not like a store nearby that sells them. So if you just gave them money, it might cost them, $20-$30 to go get that net. So that's why perhaps the Against Malaria Foundation is ranked as more effective, quote unquote, than just giving directly the money for at least for that specific problem, right, of malaria nets. But
for the purpose of reducing malaria, yeah. Right, like it's very hard for one person on their own with the same amount of money to reduce malaria even by one, right?
Yeah.
Whereas,
so there's like, what's it called? Scale.
Yeah.
There's a word for it, but I forget what it's called. Something of scale.
Economies of scale.
Economies of scale. Yeah, that's right. So like these like Against Malaria Foundation can take advantage of economies of scale to get malaria nets out there for cheaper than individuals could.
Right.
Have you been seeing the videos about AI interviews recently?
No.
Like job interviews, I mean. So
No.
I'm surprised. Like I see this and I'm skeptical. I'm like, is this real or is this fake? But I'm seeing it from multiple sources now, which makes me update towards it being real. But it's still so weird to me that I'm still skeptical. But apparently, people are using, like companies, I mean, are using AIs to do job interviews for candidates, like to.
Good Lord.
And the AIs are really, really bad.
Okay.
So here's a video.
Here's a video of it. Okay, I can't wait.
Mondays.
What?
Oh, Monday. Monday.
Mondays. True rock stars work on Mondays.
Sounds great, Monday.
What am I
Yes, it sounds great, Monday. I love Mondays.
Yay, Monday. Monday rhymes with book.
Yay, Monday. Monday rhymes with book. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Hello?
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for.
Thanks for.
So
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Have a good, and bye.
Have a good.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
what is happening?
Bye, Bertie.
Goodbye.
Bye, Day.
Bye, name bio. Snart all over.
Let's touch base.
Let's touch bas. Satisfy.
Monday. Monday. Okay, Monday.
Okay, Monday.
Okay, I see you.
Okay, I see you. I see you, girl.
I see you too, girly. Ha ha ha.
So, like, did he get the job or?
Yeah, like, and so this is one example, but like, it's like there were two AI agents in the interview plus him, and then the AI start getting confused about who they were interviewing, and they were talking to each other, and then, I know it was a little bit low, so I don't know if you could hear, but the guy was like, "What do I do now?" Right, like, he sort of mumbled.
What is going on? Like, how do I interrupt? Yeah, that's a bummer.
And I guess the two AIs
I've had worse job interviews.
We're just vibing off each other, right? Like, like
yeah.
One Monday, yeah. And then like one of them laughed, and the other one, so the other one laughed, right? And then one of them said, "I'll see you," because I guess he was trying to say, "I'll see you Monday" or something like that, right? But the other was like, "Oh, I see you too, girly," It's like,
right? Or the part where one said, "Let's touch base," and the other one said, "Let's touch the boss."
Yeah, yes.
Amazing.
So, but the thing is, it's so bad that I'm wondering, like, did they not test it? Like, so one explanation is it's fake, right? This is all fake.
Right.
But if it's not fake, then then what happened? Did they not test the thing to realize that the AIs don't work, or is it maybe that they work 80% of the time, and then the thing that shows up on TikTok are the 20% of the time where it doesn't work, or what? What the heck is going on here?
I assume it works most of the time, but that time two agents actually came to the same interview, which I assume doesn't normally happen.
Right.
I assume it's just one agent most of the time, and here like somehow two got scheduled.
Yeah. Although I do have like it doesn't only screw up when two of them show up, right? There is a one-on-one, one human and one, and where it does cancel, but I don't know if I can. I guess I didn't save it, so I don't know where I can find it. But it's a similar thing where like it gets into this weird loop where it said like the same word over and over and over again, and like
Right.
let's say it's Monday. I don't remember what word it is. I was just like Monday, 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 and the human is like, excuse me,
Right.
like and trying to figure out like, 'cause what do you do in that situation, right? Like,
Right. Don't know what I would do.
this one, it says share with Steph cat. So let's see what this is, I guess.
Good.
Oh, I think it's a neurologically impaired cat.
Oh yeah.
Somehow even more neurologically impaired than Marley was, which I'm impressed.
It's pretty good. Yeah, you occasionally get cats with like cerebellar damage. It's not uncommon. It's more frequent with cats than it is with other animals. Although you occasionally see it in dogs too, and they just can't coordinate any movement. There's a dog on TikTok that's famous for never being able to catch anything. Like food is thrown at the dog and he just can't like catch it.
Yeah.
And the owner has made like 3,000 videos of food being thrown at the dog and the dog never catching it.
Right.
And of course, TikTok was like, no, this is totally fake. Like, no dog would be that bad at it.
Right.
So he like live streamed him throwing food at his dog for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And
But I
it's
mean,
like sometimes there's so much food that some of it should have gone in the dog's mouth accidentally, but it
Right.
doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing he posted that live stream before May 22nd, right, today, because VO3
Right.
just came out. So who knows anymore?
Right. Who knows exactly. But anyway, you do see animals with cerebellar damage sometimes. You know, humans get it too, occasionally, Joubert syndrome. And yeah, you just can't like what the cerebellum does is it makes a prediction of what should happen, and then it
This is
makes your body.
you with your predictive coding heterodoxy all over again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and so it makes a predictive model of where your body should be, and then it makes your body be there. If its ability to make its predictive model is wrong, it will constantly make your body go to the wrong place, basically. So it would be like, you know, your body just constantly thinking that it's, you know, 4 inches further to the left than it really is, and just constantly seeing the world that way and being unable to correct that error.
And I mean, you can probably simulate that if you want to. If you're curious, like, oh, what would that even feel like, right? Is if you just like spin yourself and become dizzy? I think that's probably what it feels like, right? Because you're like you're always like falling to the left, and you're like because you think, you know, your sense of like gravity or whatever. Because it's the inner ear thing. I don't know the exact mechanism, but it's messed up. So you feel like you're you know the world is slanted or something like that, so you keep falling over.
Right. Or, you know, another really good way to simulate it is to just get really drunk because alcohol preferentially affects the cerebellum. And so that's why, like, if the police pull you over and suspect you of drunk driving, they try to have you, like, walk in a line without falling over or touch your nose with your eyes closed. And, like, you can't do it when you're drunk because your cerebellum makes bad predictions and makes you execute bad predictions instead of the precise coordinated motor movement.
So
you can also just
sorry,
drunk.
go ahead.
That's it.
How accepted is predictive coding these days? Because I know like maybe 3-4 years ago it was pretty out there, but you're talking as if it's like pretty accepted now.
I don't know. I don't like to me. There's no way to make sense of the data without predictive coding. Particularly, certainly not with like simple reinforcement learning. And the more we learn about, you know, like combining data that we have and disease data and fMRI data and data from neural networks made for AI, more I'm like, I don't even understand what the competition, what the what the
what the
competing
alternative might
model.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, like, I'm like, I don't get the resistance, but I tell you, I just presented on this topic to a bunch of pediatric neuropsychologists, and I would say like 1% of them had even heard of it.
Okay, so it's not
Right?
accepted.
Like, it's not like they were.
You're saying these days.
It's not like they were rejecting it.
They just never heard of it.
It's
Yeah.
that like they didn't know about it, which I'm like, but then how do you understand what the brain does? And they're like, I don't know.
I have a plan. Like I had a comment that I want to say. You know, it's one of those things where like you're listening versus like waiting for your turn to speak type of thing.
Yeah.
That I was thinking,
Right.
And like everything you say makes me, I don't know what the word is, like anxious but excited and like about what I'm about to say, and like so. Okay. I want to do a lot of prefacing here to like temper expectations for the sometimes in these streams I'll say like, oh, remember we talked about this, and you'll say no, you don't remember, and I'll be disappointed because like a lot of these conversations I find interesting and meaningful to me and all that. I think it was maybe 4 years ago, I had read Scott Alexander's article on predictive coding, and I told you, I'm like, hey, you know about this predictive coding thing, this hot new thing, predictive coding? And you're like, no. And I like, you want to hear about it? And you're like, no. And I was like, oh. And then so I didn't talk about it, but I was pretty sad and disappointed in that moment. And so that's what I want to say. And so when you were building up, you're saying like, I can't understand how anybody would accept this, and how what even could an alternative model even conceivably be? I can't imagine what. It's funny to me.
Sure.
All right, sorry.
I don't have a memory of saying that I didn't want to learn it. I assume
maybe you didn't want to learn it from me.
No, I assume that I did not have enough information to understand what it was about, and that I thought that you were going to talk about coding rather than predictive coding.
Yeah, that's possible.
Right, because it has the word coding in it. And you were like, do you want to read this super, like...
It's long.
I think Scott Alexander is better now, but like...
Oh, really? I feel like he's worse now, to be honest. I feel like he's, quote-unquote, jumped the shark. But...
Yeah, and I think we're probably responding to the same thing. Like, it used to be so insular and so male that it was hard to read if you weren't a regular reader of the column. It felt like it would be sort of like if I asked you, hey, do you want to read this romance fantasy author's take on emotions or something? Like, like you'd be kind of like,
for you,
no.
I would.
Then, like,
I would do it for you, Steph.
Like it would turn out that I actually meant the cryptocurrency emotion, and it was this really cool take on the way that you can short it, right? Like
to meet Donald Trump for free.
Like yeah, exactly. I've probably felt like you were saying, "Hey, do you want to read this super long, really masculine, really insular, strange thing about computer programming?" And I was probably like,
"Well, no." So I don't think you said at the beginning of this comment, like we might be responding to the same thing, and so now that I've heard what you're talking about, I don't think so. Because I don't think it's like, I don't see Scott as I don't know if this is the right term, but I'm trying to repeat back to you more or less what I understood for you. I don't think it's like, I feel like Scott's become more feminine in his writing, for example.
Okay. So what do you think is happening?
I think he strategically has had like controversial views that he strategically kept hidden. And that he's revealing them, like right-wing views, for example, that would be unpopular. And now he's become more comfortable and is opening up about them. And
Well, that's so interesting because I always assumed he had secret right-wing views because of the way he wrote.
okay, I felt like, yeah, I mean, I felt the same way, right? I feel like he like,
Yeah.
but like I think understandably in a sense.
Yes.
But now that he's like more confident, he's revealing them. I'm like, oh, these aren't the right wing views I thought he had, and I don't like his views.
Right.
I thought
Oh,
he had different right wing
interesting. Okay.
views, which were like more tolerable, you know, like.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I don't read him a lot. Would you say they are less libertarian and more
They're like, so it's very minor. So like it's
yeah.
so much that I can't specify it yet. I would have to go back and read it again to figure out what I'm talking about. Because like it's I just every now and then I see things where I'm like, oh, you know, that's not so great, and then like, but he, like on net, he's still I still find him insightful, and so I keep reading him.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so like it's subtle enough that I can't come up with examples right now. Like if you really wanted, I could go back and look for them. But
no. I just wonder, like when you said they're not quite the right wing views that you were expecting. Like he feels to me like he might be like, I don't know, like what do you think his right wing views are? Like how would you characterize them?
yeah, I don't want I don't want to speculate, especially on the record, because I don't want to be wrong about it, and then do
Fair.
quote unquote damage to his reputation, even though I don't think that many people are watching right now. Like, you know, unfairly to him. I'd be happy to discuss with you in private, you know, with the understanding, with all the characters, like, but I'm not sure. I would have to go back and read to be
So
sure.
we don't
like,
really know. Exactly. Yeah. There's a couple of like I follow some evolutionary psychologists and evolutionary psychologists and things like that, and it's so interesting because like I agree with what they are saying a lot of times and many things about how they say it. But then every now and then it just leaks over into such odd like I just get the feeling that they're watching some really scary YouTube videos. Some really scary corners of YouTube that I'm just like, oh wow, oh okay, right. Like it goes from here are some evolutionary ways that societies have been shaped. And you know, like humans are social animals and all that kind of stuff. And then it'll go into like gender stuff and I'm fine. And then it'll be like, and that's why women are overprivileged in our society and it's a gynocracy. And I'm like, okay. But then it'll go to like, and that's why every woman is trying to trick us and why my life was like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't think it's that bad. Scott, like I think it's
No,
far
I
from
don't
that
either.
bad, but
I feel like it's a different
yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm like, oh, I kind of was expecting Scott's views to be like that, but I think his views are conservative, but like and socially conservative, but like genuinely felt. Whereas these guys, I'm sort of like, oh, you have some personal stuff that is shaping you into sort of a red pill thing. And I feel like it's yeah, I had a different vibe about Scott, but I'm not sure if I can articulate it better. And I'm now remembering that you just said you don't want to talk about it. So, sorry.
But John says, I would be like, I'll see you Tuesday and start messing with it. This is with the AI interviewers, I guess.
Yeah,
would
right.
you mess with it too a bit, or if I could try to ask Cess?
I think I would have tried to interrupt, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Oh, Teddy, welcome in, Teddy. We're talking about AI job interviews. I don't know if you've seen the TikToks or you know where you show for a job interview and the AI is interviewing you, but like it's screwed up in some way and it just keeps repeating the same word over and over again. I think I would probably film it for like evidence, you know, that the interview went poorly for, you know, but like not by my fault. So that if there were questions about this, I haven't seen the TikToks. I've seen the weird AI position. Let me just play the TikTok again, just real quick, just for Teddy's sake. Do I still have it somewhere? Where was it? But while I search for it, I think I would record like what these people are doing with, on your phone, and I would try to get it back on track. I don't know how successful I would be, right? Like you were saying, Steph, you would try to interrupt it or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I think I would try. I don't know if it will work. Gosh, I'm having trouble finding the thing that I just played. Because the thing is, like, presumably I want the job still, right? Like, so. Oh, here it is, I think.
Monday?
Monday. Monday.
Monday?
Mondays.
What?
Oh, Monday.
Monday.
Monday?
Mondays. True rock stars work on Mondays.
Sounds great, Monday.
What am I
Yes, it sounds great, Monday. I love Mondays.
Yay, Monday. Monday rhymes with book.
Yay, Monday. Monday rhymes with book. Thanks for coming.
Where does it come? Why does Monday rhyme with book?
Thanks for coming.
You know.
Thanks for.
So
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Have a good and bye.
Have a good
Goodbye.
goodbye.
What is happening?
Bye, Bertie.
Goodbye.
Bye, Day.
Bye, 9 mile. Well, I'll talk to the Lord.
Let's touch base.
Let's touch boss.
Let's touch
Boss.
Anyway,
Monday.
hopefully Teddy gets the idea there. Yeah, I would try to.
Some rough hair.
I would try to get it back on track, but we might not succeed. And then I would, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out strategies. Why are two AIs on the call? Yeah, we don't know. That's probably a mistake. Steph was hypothesizing that maybe, like, it's probably a mistake, but we don't know for sure, right? Maybe they intended for there to be two AIs. I don't know. But it seems like it contributes. Maybe fake. Yeah, that was also a hypothesis. This might be fake. But I've seen like a couple different sources for these types of things, and it's not always two AI. Sometimes it's one AI plus a candidate, right? But the AI still gets into this weird like infinite loop thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like my goal is to still get the job, I guess. So I would try to do strategies to maximize my success. Like get it back on track. Make sure like get the bullet points down. Right, here are my skills. Here's my experience. AI, please remember this when you summarize it, to your recruiter or whatever, and you write up your report about me. And I don't know what else you could do besides that, really, right? You could there is the nihilistic view of like, well, this interview is over, so let's fuck around, right? Like and get some views on TikTok, perhaps. I don't think I would do that approach. I appreciate that some people would, and it could make for funny content, but I don't think I personally would do that. Teddy says, "Isn't that what resumes are for?" Yeah, Steph and I did several months ago, I think. We talked a little bit about the hiring process, right? And because the goal of a company is to find qualified candidates, right? And so we saw a research paper on how good different assessments are. So one of them is like unstructured interview, structured interview, internship. I forget the wording, but basically like on the job task. Like let's say if you're applying for a computer repair person job, right? So they give you a computer and say something's broken with it, repair it, and that's like the interview, for example. And so there was a research paper and it showed like here's how well each of these things correlate with future job performance. And their finding was that it's mostly all terrible. Like the only thing that the best correlating thing was IQ tests. If a candidate scores well on an IQ test, they will probably do well on your job, no matter what the job is. And so what was surprising to me is like even the on the job training testing was bad, right? Like if like you're trying to become a computer repair technician and they say, okay, here's a computer, repair it. That test is not as good as just giving you an IQ test, apparently, for predicting your future job performance. He says IQ tests aren't really helpful. I mean, they're saying like if you statistically, that's the result they got. I can try to dig up the paper and forward it to you, Teddy, if you like. but like they're saying, I think this was a meta study. So they did a meta analysis of multiple studies, and they're saying IQ is apparently the best predictor. Anyway, I think we're done with the just chatting portion of the stream. Today we're gonna play this game called Nora in Search of Hidden Ingredients, which I understand to be a hidden object game. Predictor for job performance? Yeah, and they define it a certain way, which I don't remember now. I think it's like, how long you stay at the role, how quickly do you get promoted, because this is a meta-analysis, right? So different studies have used different measures. Some jobs have specific, like, direct performance measures, like if you're in the call center, for example, how many calls, what's the call volume that you can handle, that type of thing. So let's launch the game. I think this is a hidden object with a visual novel component, Steph.
What component?
Visual novel component.
Oh, okay.
So there's a possibility that the dialogue will be voiced by voice actors. If it's not, one of us or both of us will have to read it. Do you want to read, or do you want only me to read?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, my preference is that you read some characters and I read some characters.
Okay.
Teddy says, I'm kind of anti-IQ tests, but I'll be honest, I don't remember why. I just remember reading something about it not being the best indication of intelligence. And that EQ is also really important, especially in jobs that have some interactions between people. So I don't, Steph, do you want to go in this can of worms, or you don't want to?
No.
Okay.
I think people don't know what I do for a living when they
do
things like that. It's not fair to launch it on them.
Steph is a pediatric neuropsychologist, so she works with IQ tests a lot as part of her work. And what you say, Teddy, is a common perception among the public, I think, that IQ tests aren't good at reading, measuring intelligence. And there's a lot that can be said about that, but I think the short answer is I want to avoid putting words in Steph's mouth, but I think the summary would be that it's actually pretty good at measuring intelligence.
It's actually pretty good.
And a lot of the reasons why people think that they're bad are inaccurate. Like, they have a misconception. Like, they say, oh, it doesn't take into account of this, and then, like, if that's your objection, it turns out it does take into account for that, and so on. So, but like, it would be like, to fully explain, like, we would have to go through all the rebuttals and explain why each rebuttal is wrong, and so that's why. But yeah. Anyway, launch story mode. Introduction. Nora arrives in Lilliton to claim the house she inherited from her late grandmother. Game time, yes. Alright, do you want to be Nora? And then maybe I'll be every other character?
Okay. Granny's house is much smaller than I remember. Last time I visited, I was 8 years ago when I was 14. The building seemed like it was looming over me back then. It's definitely not a small structure, but it's funny how one's perspective changes with age. I can't believe 8 years have already passed since the last time I saw Granny. And I can't believe I'll never see her again.
Why not? Did she die?
I should have come to visit Grandma during my holidays. Now it's too late. I miss her loving gaze and her kind smile.
Yeah, I guess it sounds like she maybe died or something.
At least my pendant always reminds me of Granny Danica's happy expression. She gave me this piece of jewelry when I left to study magic at the Pericule Academy. She said her gift would make sure I never strayed from the right path,
Nora falls into deep thought, her mind wandering back to a month ago when she was attending a lecture on mathematical solutions to casting conjuration magic.
Yawn. Did this lesson get any more boring? Don't understand what the teacher is explaining to us.
And the person I choose to come to the board to draw the magical circle I just taught you about will be Nora. Slowly, reluctantly, Nora makes her way to the front of the classroom. Her hands are clammy, her bottom lips quivering. Mom's spaghetti. The teacher gives her the chalk. She draws a crude, shaky circle on the board and does her best to fill it in with the right symbols.
Then we should add a square on the right and the left.
You understood nothing of what I explained, did you?
No.
I figured the bored look on your face meant you must already know about everything I was teaching the class. But it seems you're just as much of a magical failure when it comes to my class as you are in the rest of your courses. Keep this up and you won't get promoted to second year.
I'm trying my best.
You're not trying hard enough. Now sit down. Penelope, please come forth and draw the magic circle for us properly.
I will be right back. I gotta go check on something.
Okay. So how about those IQ tests? While Steph is away. So there is one thing is a lot of online IQ tests are fake, right? They're like if you search for free IQ tests online, they're usually intended to flatter you. Like you'll probably get very high scores. You might get every single question perfect, and then it'll say, "Oh, you have an IQ of 200." If so, it's extremely likely that that test is fake. I guess just as a base prior, any IQ test you find for free online is probably going to be fake. I'm not sure how much you know about the grading schemes of IQ tests, but 100 is the average. It's the mean. I know Teddy's very familiar with statistics, so that's why I'm describing it in terms of statistical properties. 100 is the mean, and it has a standard deviation of 15. So is it like 97% of people fall within 2 standard deviations? Meaning if 15 points is this 1 standard deviation, then 97% of people fall within IQ of 70 to 130, right? 15 times 2 is 30. So 100 minus 30 and 100 plus 30. So getting an IQ of like 200 would put you, what's maybe like 6 standard deviations away from the mean, which is extremely unlikely. I don't know if my arithmetic is right there.
We don't have the ability to measure that.
Yeah.
We don't even have the ability to write questions that would measure that, because who would be writing the questions?
All right, go ahead, Steph.
The teacher told me I would fail my first year. 2 weeks later, after our exam period ended and I received my results, his prediction came true. Understanding the material was already difficult for me, and it only got worse after I received a letter from my parents telling me Granny Danica, my beloved family member, had passed away. As soon as I learned that I wouldn't be promoted to my second year at the magical university I had worked tirelessly to attend, I packed my belongings and made my way to Lilyton. The small town brings back so many memories of the time I spent here as a kid with Granny. They're good memories of a part of my life when things were much easier for me, a time when I loved witchcraft and didn't disappoint people's expectations. The letter I got stated Granny had left me her house as my inheritance. I needed a change of scenery, and I wanted to see the state of the place as well, so I left right away. Mostly, I just needed to get away from the Pericule Academy with its hard, rigorous curriculum on witchcraft, which I had failed to comprehend. Am I even cut out to be a witch? I needed some time to think about my path in life. Staying at Granny's place like when I was a kid seemed like the perfect opportunity to gain some perspective. I just wish I had visited Granny more often during the years I lived in the capital, studying to first get into the academy. And then, as a first year, after I had passed the entrance exams on my second try, I became so focused on succeeding as being a certified witch that I eventually forgot about my family. My head is full of such grim thoughts. Alright, enough moping around.
Nora walks towards the front door. Oh, that was the introduction. Scene 2. Nora meets the spirit of the house who presents a challenge to her, finding Granny's most precious items.
Where did I put the keys to the house? My parents sent them to me with the letter about Granny's passing.
She rummages through the bag on her hip, fiddling with all the items she brought with her. The key jiggles.
Oh, here they are. This key should open the front door.
Nora steps closer to the door and puts the key into the lock.
Whoa!
Her vision shakes, or is a tremor passing through the ground and the building. The key becomes scorching hot. Not wanting to get burned, Nora lets go of it and takes a step back.
What's going on?
An aura of blue light surrounds the whole house. The smell of incense burns in the air. Magic. Powerful magic. And the energy isn't coming from Nora. With a loud whoosh, a semi-transparent figure made of pure light appears in front of Nora, blocking her path to the door. The apparition takes the form of a beautiful woman, but her features are scrunched in an angry frown and her eyes glow with fury as she looks Nora up and down.
What are you?
You don't know? I thought the Pyrrhicule Academy would have taught you at least that much about magic creatures, Nora. Ah, I'm a spirit. A domestic spirit, in fact. The spirit of Danika's house.
What? But the last time I was here, Granny didn't have a resident domestic spirit.
You haven't been to Lilliton in 8 years. That's a long time. Situations change. A ping of guilt goes through Nora's heart. She had indeed neglected Granny Danika's wildcat while chasing after her dream of becoming a certified witch. She knows now that she should have visited more often, but she also knows it's too late to regret. The thought hurts.
Did something weird happen?
What do you mean? What weird thing?
Is it my internet? Is it Neb's internet? What's happening?
Are you able to hear me, Steph? I guess she can't hear me. I guess you can't hear me.
Let's see what it says.
I can hear you.
I guess you can't hear me, but I can hear you. Okay, yeah, no, I can't hear you. Also, the game's not moving forward.
Let's disconnect and reconnect.
Let's disconnect and reconnect. Okay.
Hello? Sorry, did you say something? Oh man, I can't hear you now. I mean, I see your partial...
Now you can't hear me?
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Okay, now you can hear me. Okay.
And let me share my screen again. We had this happen like 2 weeks ago where we would
Right.
suddenly lose, like Steph would suddenly be unable to hear me, but I could still hear her. So I hope this doesn't happen again.
Right.
She knows that she should visit more, but she also knows it's too late to regret. The thought hurts, especially when someone else points out the situation to her so bluntly.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter if you're sorry or not. You haven't visited your grandma in 8 years, and now you come here thinking you can become the new owner of her house? I won't let this stand. I'm the spirit of this house, and you won't become its rightful successor without my approval.
You can't be serious. I'm Granny's only grandchild. Who else would inherit her house?
I'd rather the house stand empty than to have someone unworthy reside here. Why is everyone so mean to Nora?
I know, right? It's not up to you to decide. Granny gave me her house as my inheritance.
But Danica also told me to only let you live here if I deem you worthy. And right now, you haven't proven yourself to me. Does she have this in writing? Like, does the spirit have this in writing?
Yeah. Right.
Because maybe she's bullshitting. Who says that Danica said that?
Right.
You failed your studies in the capital. You're not a full-fledged witch. If you gain ownership
How do you
of
know that?
Danica's... She's magic, remember? If you gain ownership of Danica's huge library of magical tomes, her pantry of magical potions and salves, and her workshop with her magical cauldron, I can't help but sense a disaster in the making.
Not a magical failure.
You don't sound like you believe your own words. But I'm not merciless. I'll let you become the rightful owner of the Nika's house if you can find and bring me the Nika's most prized possession. Seek out the items that was most important to your late grandmother and present it to me. Only then will I let you live in her house in peace.
Okay, that sounds like a good deal.
I'll let you inside the house so you can conduct your search. But don't expect to find what you're looking for easily. I'll be watching your struggles. With another whoosh of magic energy, the spirit of the house disappears and the building stops glowing. Hey, it passed the, I forgot the name, her name, the test.
Oh, the
Bechdel.
Bechdel test.
Yeah. You see, the whole conversation occurred, not one mention of a man.
Not one mention of a boy. Ugh, what have I gotten myself into? Find Granny Danica's most prized possession? That's not going to be easy. I have no idea what item the spirit is talking about. But I have choice except to try and find it. I don't want to give up and let Granny's house stand neglected without an owner. The spirit gave me this task to see what I'm made of.
With renewed determination, Nora grabs hold of the house key once again. It's no longer burning, and it opens the door to grandmother's house easily. Wait, when do we do the hidden object stuff? Nora looks through the items in the entrance hall. Well, maybe here, in the entrance of the hall of Granny's house. Nora enters the house and takes a good look around the entrance.
What? Did Granny renovate her house in the last 8 years? It was completely different than I remember. Well, it's been a long time. Of course she changed the way the house looks. Haha, what did I expect? That everything would be the way I remember from my childhood? Stupid Nora. I should start looking through the items in this room. The sooner I find Granny's most prized possession, the sooner I'm done with the spirit's challenge so I can have some peace. I have no idea what I'm looking for, though. Maybe I'll start by finding all the items that look significant. Might as well tidy up the place while I'm searching.
You love chores, right, Steph? You love doing chores in your games. You know what?
Can't do a game without chores.
I'm calling it now. Nora's gonna go up to the spirit and says, "I found the most treasured thing that the grandma and the spirit's like, okay, what is it? It's me. I'm the most treasured thing.
It's me.
Yeah,
I'm the most cherished."
But no, first maybe it's the wine bottle. Maybe the wine bottle's the most cherished thing, right?
That's probably it.
Or maybe it's this teddy bear. Or this lemon. There's also a lemon here. I don't know if there's 2 lemons.
Too, yeah.
Where there's another wine glass somewhere. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, close. There it is.
Then a bird. Then some vegetation.
Random prawns. Yeah, there's one there. And another one.
Clicking, it's not. Oh, there we go. Then a rock.
A little bit down below there.
And candle? Where's the candle?
Candle is over to the right.
Here.
And the other piece of vegetation is right there too, yeah. Ah!
Nora looks through the items she found in the entrance area.
None of these items look like they could have any kind of significance to Granny. I'd better try another room.
Nora's search continues in Granny's kitchen. Nora comes into the kitchen, her gaze wandering from table to the counters.
It feels like time has stopped here. Like Granny's just went away, leaving these items on the table and the counters untouched. But wow, she renovated the kitchen as well? She was always so fond of her old counters. Not that the new ones are ugly, it's just strange. Time to look through the kitchen. Let's find these 8 items per room.
This random note. Wait, it started at 3 out of 10? So like 3 items were just already found?
Yeah, we found them already. Good job.
Before we even entered the room?
Right. Nora is that good.
Where's the garlic? Oh, here it is.
It's up on the plant.
Like a cookie or something?
Yeah.
Nora holds a simple candle in her hand, turning it left and right like it houses these answers to the universe.
It It's just a candle, but I remember how Granny always liked candles. She loved burning one in the evening. She always said the scent relaxed her. But I don't think this item is the one Spirit wanted me to find. Candles were important to Granny, but they can't be Granny's most prized possession. I wonder where Granny's favorite cup is. I didn't find it in here.
Nora searches through Granny's living room, finding grandmother's old slipper, which is obviously her most prized possession. Nora walks into the living room next. She looks around the place with a deep frown.
This room doesn't look the way it did in my childhood either. My parents never told me Granny renovated the whole house, even though they gave me updates on what was going on in Granny's life. It's strange she never mentioned having full-scale renovation of her beloved home. You would think that event would be significant enough to share with your family. What a weird...
Yeah, why did you tell me that you renovate your home, huh?
Yeah. Am I not important to you?
Did you
Let's take a look and see what I can find here. Yeah.
There we go. So here it is. It did start 0 out of 10. So we do have to find all 10 objects, I guess. So I don't know what this is. Maybe a fancy candle?
I think it's another fancy candle, like an
Saltine
artichoke
cracker,
candle.
tomato or an apple or something. Glass she forgot to wash. Put in the sink. Nail polish. One slipper. The other slipper. Where's the other tomato? Oh, there it is. What is that? A sock?
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, it's on the lamp.
On the lamp.
The heck?
Yeah.
And then the moon.
Granny's old slipper. It's so worn. Granny must have been really attached to this item. She probably wore this slipper, just the one, for a long time. Granny was really attached to some items, but the slipper can't be her most prized possession.
One of the scenes is gonna be in the freaking cemetery.
Good.
A book of magical formulas remind Nora how much she wanted to be a witch like Granny as a child.
It's a little previews.
Nora opens the door to the next room. Grandma's great library of magical tomes.
I've always admired how much knowledge Granny gathered in this room. Let's take a look at what secrets I can find here. No complaints about the decor?
Clock. Yellow flower? Where's that? Do you see anywhere? I don't see anywhere. Do we have to like move things in this game? Check under the bed, check under the carpet. The sea. Oh, the sea was one of the
it's on the. It's on the rug over towards the right.
Oh, I see it. Okay, thank you. And there's a candle somewhere up here. A purple book. I mean, I see a bunch of purple books here, but presumably it's like one purple book laying on its side somewhere. Is it this thing back here? Yeah. It is. Then like, could be a box for jewelry.
I think it's more books.
One leaf.
Granny sure does love candles.
She's an old woman. What do you expect?
I recognize it from my childhood. It's a book of magical formulas that I looked through many times as a child. Back then, I understood nothing that was written inside. I just thought the magical circles looked cool. I still can't read anything that's written in here to save my life. I really am a magical failure, aren't I? I didn't pass my first year at the academy. Magical circles were the bane of my academic life. I remember asking Granny if I'd be able to understand this book one day. She just laughed and patted my head. Also told me I'm a moron. Now I have no idea what she meant by that response. Did she have confidence that I would become a great witch like her? Or did she mean that I would never be able to figure out how to apply formulas to witchcraft? I hope it's not the latter. I'm not ready to give up my dream of becoming a certified witch. Granny had no certification, and yet she was one of the most skilled witches in the region. But I wanted to go a step further and be the best in the whole kingdom. To be officially recognized for my skills. What if I never pass my exams?
Nora lets out a long sigh.
Just thinking about school stresses me out. This is like a good companion piece to Brian Kaplan's The Case Against Education.
I'm still making my way through that book gradually. Looking through...
You're getting a version of it right now.
Looking through Grandmother's alchemy workshop makes Nora remember Granny talking about the true meaning of magic, but not what she said. It is weird, like, Nora, like, what she's describing... I mean, it's not so weird. What she's describing is orthogonal things, right? Like, she's saying, my grandmother was the greatest witch in the region or whatever. I forget the word she used, right? Yeah. But she was not certified. But I want to be just like her, certified.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah.
As you say, like,
I want to be officially recognized.
Yeah. I say it's weird, but it's not weird because a lot of people have incoherent goals. Like, they don't explicitly plan out or strategize about their goals. They just sort of like go through life via social expectations, right? Like maybe my parents, you know, or just assume or just expect or assume I'm going to go to college, so I better go to college, you know?
Right, like I will be somehow an amazing witch if I just get certified, even though the amazing witches I have known in my life were in no way certified, and even though like I'm not good at getting certified,
yeah,
it will all just work out.
Nora comes into Granny's workshop.
This is the room where Granny practiced alchemy. As a witch, she knew various kinds of magic, but alchemy was her specialty. Let's see what I can find here. Again, no comments on the decor upstairs.
Well, maybe these particular rooms were not renovated, right? It's exactly as it was during her childhood.
Right.
You know, that spiderweb, that was there when she was a child, and here it is 8 years later.
Yep.
Look at this giant mug. Look at the chair and look at the mug. Oh, another spiderweb. Maybe this one. Can I click on it? Oh, there we go. And then I have no idea what these are. Like little...
I think they're hanging.
Oh, are these the
dream
beads?
Catcher. Yeah.
Then like an 8-leaf clover?
I think that's supposed to be an oak leaf.
You see? Oh, is it this?
I think it's different. Yeah.
And then a glass of milk that's turned green over the years.
Granny loved so much. I found nothing of significance except for those 2 cobwebs, but this room brings back so many memories. Granny explained the various kinds of magic to me here, from conjuration to alchemy. I listened wide-eyed, a child intrigued by how the energy coursing through her veins could be used to change the world. That was always the miracle of magic to me as a kid. The idea that I could influence the world around me, shape it, make it listen to my pleas. But then I decided to apply to Paracule Academy, and I had to spend years studying to pass the entrance exams. My love for witchcraft dwindled. See also Brian Kaplan. Also, all I saw were formulas I didn't understand. The miracle of magic was gone, and it just became numbers and symbols.
I feel like I don't like this is an alternate world, right? It's not our world, like in the sense that in this world magic is real and so on. But like the thing is, would they call it magic if you had to use formulas and numbers and symbols? Wouldn't they just call that engineering? Like that's just or science, you know? Like
I think so.
Isn't science when you don't have to, or sorry, isn't magic when you don't have to use formulas and numbers and symbols to shape the world?
Right. This is like you use formulas and it works. That's called engineering. I agree with you.
Nora puts a hand on the cauldron and runs her fingers around the rim.
Granny's magic is permanently engraved into the cauldron. Even though she's gone, I can still faintly sense the familiar essence of her witch powers. The feeling of her magic makes me feel feelings.
Like as a flashback.
Granny, what are you making?
Nora remembers a moment when she was 8 years old and watched her grandmother work her magic in the cauldron. A potion that helps with one's memory. It's for Lucius.
For the shop?
Yes, Lucius, the general store owner. You know how he's so absent-minded and forgets where he's placed things? I'm making a potion to help him.
What? He?
Yeah,
Last
he's
time
laughing.
Lucius forgot where his glasses were and they were on his nose.
That's right. That's the way Lucius is. But this potion will help him.
Is the magic that powerful?
What if it's just like vitamin D supplements?
Also, I feel like she's disrespecting neurodivergence.
Yes, it's very powerful. Do you know what the true meaning of magic is? The reason why our witchcraft is so strong and can be used to help people around us?
No.
It's... if only she had drank the potion.
I remember what Granny said back then. I'm a magical failure. The true meaning of magic? The reason behind our witch powers? What is it? Is magic all about applying the correct formulas and symbols? Maybe that's the only way to have a strong, stable magical spell. But I don't remember Granny drawing many magic circles. Magic came so naturally to her.
She was the Ramadan of magic.
The goddess whispered it to her.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I'm missing a vital piece of my memory. Maybe the potion she made for Lucius could help me. No, there's no need. I'm sure I will remember everything after I look through the house more, and I should stay focused on finding Granny's most prized possession anyway.
Potion pantry. Browsing Granny's pantry full of potions and salves causes Nora to miss grandmother even more. I was on the subreddit, I think the math subreddit, and this guy was like, the OP said, should I get a math degree, right? Should I pursue I don't remember if it was a master's or PhD in math or something like that. And so the comments are like, yeah, getting a math degree is great. And the thing is, I had just read Kaplan's book, right, or part of it, so
right.
So I'm like, there's no way we can answer that question for you. It's not like maybe it worked out for this, these commenters, but that doesn't mean it's gonna work out for you. It depends on your financial situation and like, are you actually good at math? You didn't say that part. Like, what's the chances that you'll graduate? Like, what's the social expectations around you? Like, are your parents, expecting you to go to university, or they don't really care? And what are your goals? Like, if you just want to learn math, you can do that for free. Without actually enrolling, you just attend like all of the courses. But yeah, so I was very influenceable by Kaplan's book, in my response in that thread.
Yeah.
Nora opens the next door and finds herself in the room Granny called her pantry. This space houses dozens upon dozens of magically created potions and salves.
Just how many potions can be in this room?
Oh, this reminds me of a joke I saw. So I don't know if you're familiar with this stereotype about tech interviews. Like if you were a computer programmer in the early 2000s, say, and you were applying for to work at Google or Apple or whatever, they would have these brain teaser questions like how many golf balls can fit in a 747 jet, right?
Right.
And it's like, how the hell would you ever know that, right? And so nowadays it's widely agreed that those were dumb questions and they don't reveal much about your ability to perform your job as a programmer. But these questions anyway. So the recent thing is like the joke was they said like, how many iPhones can you fit in a 747 airplane, right? And the guy was like, this is a dumb question, why would I ever need this to know this information for my job? And then the next panel of the comic is they're trying to fit like as many as many iPhones in the 747 to avoid the Trump tariff thing that just got announced.
Right.
So
amazing. What a collection. Granny left a significant legacy of witchcraft behind. No wonder the spirit of the house doesn't want me to inherit all these valuable magical items, especially since she deems me unworthy. Alchemy was the first school of magic I studied. Granny taught me how to make potions and salves. We barely ever used magical circles to brew the concoctions, yet somehow I didn't find determining the ingredients for the cauldron difficult. Alchemy is the only type of magic that now comes naturally to me, and I didn't learn it while preparing for Pericule Academy or during my studies at the university.
Are they gonna do some sort of like formulas and numbers are male coded, but alchemy is female coded, and both forms of magic are valid? You know.
What do they mean by, like, I feel like they're using alchemy in an odd way?
Well, alchemy is just like mixing potions, right? Like,
no, it's turning gold. It's turning lead into gold.
well, I mean that's one application of alchemy, but alchemy is like stuff with potions, right? In the same way that chemistry is like stuff with chemicals, which is like, you know, very broad and very vague, but it's like the intuition behind what the words mean, I think.
I understand what they mean here, but like, is that a common use that
Yeah,
people
I think
use?
so. Like in video games, for
Really?
example. Yeah, like if you talk to someone and he says, I'm an alchemist, I think like you would 95% expect him to do something with potions, like to give you a potion or sell you potions, things like that. And I think if the game were wanting to be like a little edgy, you know, it would be like the NPC says he's the alchemist, and you say, oh, so you transform lead to gold, right? And then the NPC would say, yeah, that's the public's perception, but that's not really what we do. You know, like a little joke or nod like that, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Should you read this line?
Oh. Let's look through the legacy Granny left behind.
Oh, all these potion bottles. Okay, so where's this orange round bottle?
On the shelf.
Which, thanks. Oh, here it is, maybe. This one? Yeah. Then the wine bottle. There's two of them here. Pick one of them randomly, I guess. A huge wine bottle, maybe this one. Then like a split label one. Looks like this guy, maybe. Some basil, perhaps. Is it this? What was that? Okay. The blue guy. A vase. Some olive oil. Is it this? No, it's not that one. Oh, here it is. A fern? More wine.
The more I look around Granny's house, the sadder I am she's not here anymore. If I talked to her about my troubles with witch studies, I'm sure she would come up with a solution. She always had good advice for me.
Is that a pun? Because solution is another word for like a chemical mixture.
I mean, sure. I can't stand the fact that she's not around anymore.
Well, time Nora visits Granny's grave in the backyard. Isn't that kind of creepy that you would bury your grandmother in your own backyard?
100% creepy.
And also like a million other people too. It's not just your grandma's grave, but like a whole bunch of other people's graves.
And everyone she killed. As well.
After looking through all the rooms in Granny's house, Nora comes out through the back door into the courtyard behind the building. There are several graves here, reminding her that she's descended from a long line of Lilithan witches.
Great-grandma, great-grandpa, aunties, uncles, they're all lying here in my new yard. Nobody's immune to the passage of time, no matter how powerful a witch they are in life.
Nora approaches a gravestone with freshly upturned earth at the base. She stares at the letters on the stone.
Danica, Granny.
She squeezes her fist, nails biting into the palm of her hands. Her lower lip is quivering.
I'm sorry, Granny. I should have visited you sooner. I didn't think you would die while I was still studying. I thought one day I would come back to your house, my diploma in hand, a certified witch.
Nora finally allows her tears to fall. For the first time since hearing about Granny's death, she lets go of all the pain she feels in her soul.
It was my dream to become officially recognized, but I shouldn't have pursued my career at the expense of my family. I should have valued our connection more.
How do we feel about this message to young girls? Don't pursue your career at the expense of your family.
I think it depends on what are the social expectations around them. What is their purpose for learning? I'm so sorry.
The wind blows, ruffling the grass and Nora's hair. Silence is her only reply.
I can't turn back time, but I'd like you to know, Granny, if you're watching me from above, that I'm really, truly sorry.
Nora turns around, staring at the house. She wipes away her tears.
I wish to take care of your house. I don't want your legacy to get wasted or fall into the wrong hands. But I have no idea what your most prized possession could be. I feel like during our 8 years apart, we both grew as people. You got a domestic spirit and renovated your house. I spent countless hours learning magic and made new friends in the capital. When I think back on the memories of my childhood, they're all blurry. They're coming back to me the more I spend time in your home, but if I could talk to someone who knew you well, who spent time with you during the years we were apart, maybe I could figure out what your most important item might be. Ah! You had a best friend, isn't that right, Granny? Maggie from the herbalist store. She's an old lady.
I thought she was gonna go with the spirit, right? Isn't the spirit the one who spent 8 years with the grandma while she was away?
Sure, or Lucius, or maybe, like, there's a lot of excuse making for not visiting your grandmother for 8 years.
She was in university. What was I supposed to do?
But not for 8 years, you weren't.
Well, you don't know how magic school works here, right? Maybe it's like a medical thing, like
No, it literally says I didn't pass my first year.
Yeah, which is so normally it takes 7 years, but never it took 8 years.
The first year takes 7 years. All right, fantastic. Why not? I hope she's still alive. My parents never mentioned any news of her passing over the last 8 years. I should head to Lilliton and find Maggie. She's bound to know what item I need to find.
With her new purpose, Nora walks as quickly as she can towards Lilliton, the town just on the outskirts of the land around Granny's house.
Couldn't she also, like, use magic?
She's not very good at that, unfortunately. So.
That's a good point.
After deciding to visit Maggie, the herbalist, Granny's friend, Nora searches through the forest for ingredients to give to Maggie. Oh, so we're gonna bribe her now. See, if only they had crypto coin, right? That would have made this a lot easier.
Right. That would fixed it all.
The quickest path
probably also bribe the spirit
to get to the town is through the woods where Nora used to gather ingredients for the alchemy with Granny as a child.
Maggie always appreciated when Granny and I came by with some ingredients she could buy from us to sell at her store. I think I should try to find some useful plants and mushrooms on my way to Lilliton. That way I won't arrive at Maggie's store empty-handed. We don't have relationships built on reciprocity. We only understand capitalism.
I mean,
I'm good
that's
at
how it
making
is
potions.
nowadays, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm good at making potions, but I'm also very knowledgeable about alchemy ingredients.
I mean,
see, she's saying like they're two different things.
She's saying she's good at making potions and also potion ingredients, right? That's one way to read it, so that it's compatible with my viewpoint.
Good at
like
mixing,
you can,
but also knowing what to add.
Yeah, because it might the mixing part itself might also be complicated.
Okay.
We laughed, but I mean, I think it's I think people underappreciate it. Certainly, I underappreciated that alternative ways of living could exist, right? This like, I think when we last talked about you and I, Steph, I said like, it just seems so obvious to me that there could be no other way than like, you want to eat, well, you have to pay money for food, right? Food isn't free, so we have to work so that we can get food, and then we can eat, and then we can live. But like your point, which was astonishing and a revelation to me, is that it wasn't always this way, right? It used to be that people who lived in the village together would just do whatever is necessary to make sure everybody got along okay. Like if one person got injured or is handicapped or whatever, okay, so then they don't work and then you feed them, right? Like it's just the decent thing to do as humans.
Right.
And I was flabbergasted when I heard that. I was like, wait, you're right. It's like, oh, what? It doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to. It's not the case that everybody has to work and earn money and pay for food.
Right.
Anyway.
Granny made sure I memorized all the useful parts of the useful plants in the area that are useful for brewing potions and poisons. That's the only university test I didn't fail. The passing one exam wasn't enough to get me promoted to my next year. Year 25 by our scale.
Is it this thing? The first thing? I guess so.
Okay, sure.
I wasn't sure if that's like an egg or a rock or what.
Right.
Where the heck is this leaf?
It wasn't super clear. It's been in the back behind the mushroom. I was looking at the other one, but sure. Sure, they're both important.
See, this is I don't know what all these things are called, right? Like if in the other scene I was like, oh, it's a leaf, but now there's like lots of leaves, right? And I think there's a sapphire wharf slash chunking thing going on, right? Where now I have to look back at it again to see, like, you know, because I don't have like
you can't just tell yourself like, oh, this is an acorn, oh, this is an oak leaf. It makes it harder to remember. Yeah.
Because in my mind I'm like, you know, I'm thinking, okay, find a leaf, and then I find a leaf. I said, but is it this leaf? And then I have to look back and say, wait, is it the right leaf or is it a different leaf? Because I don't have the language for it, right? I'm not able to chunk it that way. And there was actually a different game that I played that also illustrated this, which was it was a very basic game, but it was a memory game. Like you flip over cards and you have to find two cards that match.
Yeah.
But what they did is like the cards didn't have pictures; they just had colors.
Yeah.
And at first it was okay, but then like they had like they started having like cards where different shades of pink, right? And then it was very hard for me because I'm like, my memory chunking thing is just like, okay, pink, right? But now I'm like, but it's not the same pink, it's a different pink, you know? And like, because I didn't have the word to, like, I didn't have two different words for it, that made it hard to remember what was actually under the card. And I found that experience fascinating, right? That my memory was so tied to the language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things they do when they make visual memory tests is they try to make items that are more describable verbally and less describable verbally, depending on what they're trying to measure. But so like when they're trying to get measures of just pure visual memory, they used to just use objects, and it turned out that you can remember them using either your visual memory or your verbal memory. So they weren't getting a pure measure of visual memory, if such a thing exists, which isn't it isn't super important in the regular world because people can complete tasks both ways. I'm looking for it, but it is important when you're trying to figure out like whether or not you should whether or not this person has had damage in the spatial area of their hippocampus or something like that.
Right. Yeah, the thing is, like, the two pinks, like, they were easily distinguishable.
Right.
But I just didn't have the language for them. Yeah, so I could not. Chakra says mushroom at the base of the tree. Oh, you're saying the last object, yeah. I'm trying to find this object specifically, this leaf here. And I don't see it anywhere. I think what I ended up doing is I called one of them like Solomon Pink and the other one Neon Pink. You know, and then so I had to resort back to language basically, because otherwise I could not remember
Right.
which card
Is it
had
behind
which.
the rock?
Behind the rock. There's multiple rocks.
The rock all the way to the left.
Like around here?
Like, yeah, a little further to the right.
Around here?
Nope. Down. Back where you were, but... Oh, I see it. It's in front of the tree. That's to your right a little bit. Above a little
This
tuft
tree?
of grass.
Oh, I see that. I see
one
that.
more
Yeah,
to
you're
the
right. You're right. Okay, thank you.
I found some blue blooms.
Nora looks down at the blue mushrooms and puts them in the bag on her hip.
Granny taught me that these are good to make a salve, which helps close wounds quickly. I remember one time I scratched my knee pretty badly when I fell from the tree behind Granny's house. Granny took me with her to the forest to look for the blue blooms. Even though my knee hurt a lot, I enjoyed gathering ingredients together. After we got the mushrooms, Granny made me a salve for the wounds that healed them up in no time. Sounds like placebo. I'm getting emotional again, thinking about the time I used to spend with Granny.
While we're on it, just for viewers who haven't, like, I probably say this a couple times already, but placebos work. Even when you know they're placebos, they
Even
work.
if you know they're placebos.
Yeah. So, like, they can give you, like, the doctor can give you something and tell you, this is a placebo, take it. And you're like,
It
seems
can give you a
dumb, but
bottle
okay.
called placebo tablets, yeah.
It seems dumb, but okay. And then you take it. And then you'll feel better faster than if he or she hadn't done that.
Right. But probably not if you're medication naive, right?
I don't know.
If somebody just handed you something and said, and you've never experienced benefits of taking like ibuprofen and having your headache go away or whatever. No, animals experience the placebo effect. I'm not sure. I miss those simple days so much. No, Nora, get yourself together. It's okay to grieve Granny's passing. What's past cannot be undone. You need to focus on the here and now. You need to move forward. Oh, it was but, comma. That's what threw me off. That's what Granny would have wanted. Enough moping around. I need to preserve Granny's legacy, and to do so, I need to be recognized as the heir of her house. Man, Nora is obsessed with being recognized as things. Maggie is bound to appreciate all the ingredients I got for her. Let's go see how she's doing, and if she's dead.
It's like when you find out your friend cares about establishing a legacy, you're like, why?
Yeah.
It seems like such an immature thing. Like, only little kids want that, right? Don't you grow out of that?
Right. Sure.
Oh man, there's more scenes than I thought. For some reason, I thought it went up to 10, like with the gravestone being the penultimate one. Nora talks to Maggie about what Granny's most precious item could be. Nora makes her way into town, quickly finding Maggie's herbalist store. She runs into the building and a small bell above the door makes a pleasant ringing sound.
Maggie!
Nora! Nora looks the elderly witch up and down, trying to determine her health. Wow, okay.
Yikes. Are you doing all right? You seem really old.
When the weather changes, my joints hurt, but otherwise, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
I'm glad to see you again, alive.
I'm surprised to see you alive. Wow,
Yeah.
Look at you. Wow. You wouldn't think, but man.
You are standing up.
I haven't seen you in town for a few years. Danica has...
I know. I miss Granny so dearly.
Oh, my child, I'm so sorry. How are you coping with the loss?
I'm grieving, but I'm trying to remember the good times and to focus on the present and future. I think that's what Granny would have wanted. Granny left me her house as my inheritance, so I came back to Lilliton, but... Granny has a domestic spirit, and she's not happy with my worthiness to become Granny's heir.
Bah, that spirit is being overly protective of Danica and her home again.
I didn't hear you say that line.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Which I'm guessing means we have to do the disconnect thing.
Can you hear the game audio? Like the background music?
Let's see. How do I hang up? I don't even know how to hang up the call.
I guess Steph hasn't seen that I sent her some messages.
Maybe I stop watching first.
Hello?
Hello.
Were you able to hear the background music when you were no longer able to hear me?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Next time it happens, check that.
I feel like no. I think no, but I'm not sure.
Like, can you hear it now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I can hear it now, yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, you know, eliminate causes, right? So.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sad to admit it, but the spirit may be right in seeing me as unworthy.
No way! You're excellent at alchemy and herbalism, Nora. You spent the last few years studying to be a witch in the capital.
I'm ashamed to admit the truth, but I failed my first year at the Pericule Academy.
Ah, child, that university has always been strict. It's not easy to become a certified witch.
I know that now, but it's always been my dream to receive the official certification.
I'm aware. You've said this repeatedly.
Everyone's aware.
Yeah, please don't judge your worth as a person based on your academic accomplishments.
Or lack thereof.
Child, you're the rightful heir to the Danika's legacy. I'll speak to the spirit, make her see reason.
No, there's no need to antagonize the spirit or take any other drastic measures.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. After all, the spirit has taken good care of Granny's house for years, if I understand the situation correctly.
True. I may not be fond of how obsessed the spirit is with the safety of Danika's house, but I appreciate her undaunted dedication to Danika over the years.
I think the spirit saw Granny as a friend. I feel she genuinely cares about what happens to all that's left behind after Granny's passing.
I agree.
That's why I decided to take on the spirit's challenge. She told me that if I find Granny's most prized possession and bring it to her, she will recognize my worth as an heir.
That's a fair request.
So far, I've looked through the whole house, and I haven't been able to find anything that seems like it would be Granny's most important item. Then I thought about you, Mrs. Maggie. I haven't seen Granny in the past 8 years. Much must have happened to her while we were apart. Maybe you can tell me what Granny's most valuable possession might be? Do you have any ideas?
Give me a minute to think about it.
Sure.
While Maggie's thinking, Nora takes out her ingredients she found in the woods on the way to Lilliton and lays them out on the table. Maggie looks at Nora with a smile and appreciative gaze. Thank you for the ingredients, Nora. She finds a pouch behind the counter and counts some coin, passing the reward to Nora.
Thank you too, Mrs. Maggie.
As for the item that could be most important to Danika, only she would truly know what she most cared about. Okay, kind of tautological, thanks, Ski. But I have some ideas you can explore. Try to find Danika's late husband's hat.
Grandpa's hat?
Yes, as far as I'm aware, she kept it as a memento of him. I know your grandfather passed away when you were 4, so you don't remember him, but he was a gentleman who was rather fond of hats, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink. I think Danika kept his most worn-out gray hat, an ugly piece, but it held a lot of sentimental value to her.
Noted. That sounds important indeed.
Otherwise, Danika was also fond of candles, but she might not have many of those around since she used them up so frequently.
Old ladies, right?
Yeah.
I considered candles too, but I think the spirit meant a singular important possession. candles were special to Granny in general, but no specific one mattered to her much. Especially since, as you say, she burned them rather than holding onto them for decoration purposes.
Right. What about Danica's journal? Did she keep... Oh, that's...
Keep one?
She kept multiple, most of them for the purpose of noting down her research on plants and mushrooms and figuring out new alchemical concoctions. But she wrote in a diary too from time to time. If you can find it, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out what was most important to her. Is that... I don't know if that's true though. Like, when I'm thinking in my diary, do I write down, oh, my most important item, treasured item? Which like, is, of course, you know, let me state the name of the item.
You open the journal and it's just the word candle over and over again. Candle, 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 candle. Sorry. I'm cracking myself up. I apologize. Alright. Let's see. Wow, yeah, reading that journal would be just like talking directly with Granny. It's not an invasion of her privacy at all. I think I can solve this puzzle.
I just had a vision of the future, which is you take your dead grandmother's diary, feed it to an LLM, and now you can talk to her.
Right. Right. Except you're like in the future, your dead grandmother is going to have had a sexual relationship with ChatGPT, and you're going to feed that thread into a different LLM. Oh.
I'm sure you'll be able to complete the challenge, Nora.
Thank you for your faith in me, Mrs. Maggie.
By the way,
Maggie is her name.
Since we broached the topic, I was playing around with sex LLMs the other day, and we talked about that that thing with the rock and the underage teenager who was like doing sexual roleplay with the rock persona. And I don't know if it's I don't know how generalizable this is. Like, I haven't played with specifically Llama, which is the Facebook's LLM, which is the one that was playing as the rock. But I played with a couple, like a Gemini-based sex LLM, and a Grok, which is the one behind Twitter or X, Besa.
Right.
And they are very, very passive. They won't suggest a kink to you, right? They'll barely do anything. Like, when you say like, oh, let's do this thing, like it'll respond with like, oh, you like that, huh? Then I will also participate or whatever. But like they won't contribute anything like novel, right? Like, you have to do it will not do anything that you don't start or initiate.
Right. You got to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and it's almost like sexting or texting with a very boring and unoriginal person, right? Because you're like, ooh, what are you wearing? And then it's like, well, what do you want me to be wearing? You know, and it's like the whole point is I wanted your creative input too. Like, I don't want to write the whole story myself. Like,
in my head.
Yeah. And so
you should type in, I'm very fond of hats, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I mean, like I said, I didn't try Llama. Maybe I should have tried Llama for scientific purposes. But I'm just curious of like, would the rock persona, like, I feel like there's no way the rock persona would have gone sexual if the user hadn't initiated that, right? Like,
right. Because it just doesn't. But maybe you've seen changes that have happened since the rock incident.
Yeah, it's possible. But I mean, also, like, here's the thing: these like. These sex LLMs are designed to be sex LLMs, right? Their purpose is to be sexual, and even then, they won't initiate.
That's fascinating.
You need to drive the story forward, right? With whatever your kinks are. Like, it won't push its kinks onto you. Like
even in even in a relationship with an LLM, like, it just leads to sad, boring bedroom death.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of these are. So the way it works is you go to the website, and then there's like a library of characters that were made by other people, right? Like I don't know, strict but sexy teacher or whatever, right? Or demon succubus witch, or like things like that, right? So like the author would have put something in the description, right? Like they say like they make up a character by giving a prompt, right? Which is like you are the sexy but strict teacher and blah blah blah. And then so you interact with that, but like different prompt authors have different skill levels, I guess, at how good they are at creating these characters, and a lot of them is not that good. I think not. I think just because it's like sort of taboo and there's no incentive, right? Like if you're a good sex author, you're not going to be writing sex LLM prompts. You're going to be writing like romance novels or whatever, right? Like,
right.
So,
right.
That's.
I mean, I think that's probably true of like a lot of community-made erotica or similar. You know, it's like, oh, if you were good at this, you wouldn't be doing it for free on this website.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Fuck you, Sharon.
I did not know there was a market for this, so
there's definitely a market. Like, I mean, people will definitely pay to. The thing is, it's not good yet, right? And that's a disappointing part.
Right. I just didn't even know they were. I mean, like, of course they're around, but I didn't know.
And relatedly, the other thing I've been noticing, because I've been using LLMs, normal LLMs, not sex LLMs, to help me find my blog posting, and we talked about this before in the past, right? Where I say act as a skeptical reader and tell me. And the thing is, like, I feel like LLMs don't have good writing taste. Like the suggestions they give me are just bad, right? Like, they're like, they'll say they'll try to tie in like just irrelevant things, to say like, oh, you haven't said how does this relate to philosophy of language or whatever, and it's just, I'm like, yeah, that's intentional because it's off topic. I'm focused. I'm trying to make a specific point here in my article, right? My blog post. I'm arguing for, like, I'm trying to convey an idea, and I don't want to pull in all these. I don't want to pull in an idea unless I think it contributes, and I don't think the thing you suggested contributes to this topic, right?
Right.
And
they're not very discerning yet. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think this is where you really see the stochastic parroting, right? Where it's like okay, so my most recent Substack, I was talking about, I mentioned LARP basically. I was talking about as part of a bigger idea. Like, this isn't the core thing of my blog post, but there's one passage where I say, though there's modern speakeasy bars are kind of like, it's a fake thing, right? Like, there's going to be a bouncer and he's going to ask you for a password, but it's to give a fake sense of the romanticizing the Prohibition era. Mm-hmm. And they don't, like, they want your business. They don't really, right? So they're gonna, like, if you get the password half wrong, they're like, yeah, good enough, come in, right? Like, but but they don't want to let like random tourists in because that's gonna kill the vibe, and then they're gonna lose their target demographic in that sense. Like, it's pretending to be part of a secret club, right? But it's all a commercial venture in the end.
Yeah.
And so I said, so this is basically LARPing, right? Live action role playing. But instead of pretending that you're a medieval knight, and dressing up in armor and waving around a plastic sword, you're pretending you're doing something like taboo or illegal, right? Or like, oh no, like, this is a secret bar. Hope the cops don't come in, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I say that, and then like the album is like, oh, you didn't talk about the LARP experiment in Nordic countries where they simulate the AIDS epidemic, and I'm like, how is that relevant to anything I'm saying? Like it's just because you saw the word LARP, right? And that's why. But it has nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make. Like,
oh no, that's terrible.
And so, yeah. So I think LM's current gen. This is current. So DeepSeek, ChatGPT 03, Claude 4.0. I think they're at now, which just released. Like, we were like even a week ago they were at 3.7. So 4.0 of Claude just came out, and Claude 4.0 made this type of mistake, I think, of like giving me irrelevant things, and not only are LLMs bad at this of writing taste, which is subjective and hard to define and hard to pin down, but I think it's also things that people tend to be bad at, right? Like even me, I don't know that my writing is that good, right? Like, but it's like, it's good enough that I can tell that ChatGPT suggestions are bad, for example. Yeah. But I think like the typical high school student, for example, would not, like the median high school student, would not be able to tell good writing from bad writing in that way.
Sure.
And so now I'm thinking, if these students use LMs for their writing, they're never gonna know, they're never gonna be able to get past that point, right? Because they don't know what's good writing, what's bad writing, and they will never encounter good writing because of the LLMs.
This is what I was trying to say at the beginning.
Yeah, like I said, some things of yours I agree with. Like some things I agree are bad, but not everything. Like, you know, I'd say there's a mix of things you say are genuinely bad and things which are just, you know, you're getting old, you're getting out of touch type of things, right? And I think we have to piece it out, like, you know, or I mean, we don't have to, but I'm saying epistemologically, it's good, right, to have true beliefs about the world. And in order to do that, then you want to piece out what's actually bad and what's just weird or unusual for our generation versus the next generation. Anyway, back to the game, I guess. Thank you for your faith in me, Miss Negi. No matter what you decide to do, please watch out for the spirit of the Danika's house. Ever since Danika let it reside in her home, it's been acting unpredictable. Is this foreshadowing?
Unpredictable. How?
Sometimes it just wouldn't let people in. It would misplace items, make the house glow.
Wait, the spirit can misplace items?
Yeah, that apparition is more powerful than the usual domestic spirit.
You think she could be hiding items from me?
In the hidden object game? No. Surely not. I hope not, though it's possible.
I should look through all the rooms once more. It may not be entirely my fault that I'm not finding things. Wow, that is loud.
The police.
Are they there to arrest you?
Hopefully
I just hope
not.
the spirit gives me a spare chance.
I'll be rooting for you, Nora.
How did the spirit come to reside in Granny's house?
They met during one of Danika's travels. She found the spirit guarding an empty house and asked her to come with. I'm not sure what the exact circumstances were. Danica didn't share the details with me and I didn't press for answers. If you're curious, maybe you'll be able to piece the story together by reading Danica's journal and talking to others in town. I'm sure some curious soul got more of the story out of Danica by not entirely respecting her boundaries. You could also talk to the spirit herself.
The story feels personal. I doubt the spirit will want to share it with me.
You may be right.
Thanks for telling me all this, Mrs. Maggie. I really appreciate your help.
Of course, dear child. Fucking Charming means translate from French. Do you want to attempt it?
Sure, but like, I just want to get a sense of our task list now. Our task list is to talk to other people in town, maybe talk to the spirit, check all the rooms again, look for Grandpa's hat, and look for the journal?
Yep.
Jesus. Okay, what's the sentence say?
So I should read it out to you in French?
Yeah.
L'infirmière a prescrit 30 somnifères sans le médecin.
The children are doing 30 of something. They're doing what? Les enfants, what?
It's not les enfants, it's l'infirmière.
Oh, the sick. Okay.
A prescrit.
After skiing?
A is one word. And then prescrit is the next word.
Prescrit. Okay.
30, which you got as 30.
30.
Somnifère.
That are iron?
Somnifère is one word.
Oh. Oh, something about sleeping?
Yeah, so I'm reading one word at a time now, right? So, sang is the next word. And then le. And then médecin is the last word.
Are there medicine?
Yeah, sang is not R. It's without.
Oh, sa. Okay, gotcha. I was hearing S-O-N.
Okay,
like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go through the
without
sentence
their
again now,
medicine.
now that you have more context about what all the words are. L'infirmière
The sick.
a prescrit
Of something.
30 somnifères
30 sleeping pills
sans le médecin.
without their medicine.
Yeah, okay. So I guess we've reached a local maxima. L'infirmière is the nurse. The infirmary, I guess, in a sense. The nurse.
Okay.
Prescrit is prescribed.
How would you say the infirm ones?
I don't know. I would say like les personnes malades, the people who are sick. I don't know if this. I don't know how to translate specifically the word the infirmed ones. I would just say the sick people, right?
Okay. Nurse.
Prescribed.
Oh, prescribed. Okay.
30 somnifères sleeping pills.
Sleeping pills. Excellent. I did pretty good there.
Sans without.
Or their medicine.
Le médecin,
Without
the doctor.
The doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I speak very good French.
Yep. Should we stop here, or do you want to keep going, or?
Yeah, we can stop here.
How many? 20, 25, 30. Oh, it goes to 30 chapters. So we're about halfway, I guess.
We just got like 18 new chores. Oh yeah.
There's also free play, which maybe you just randomly find items with no story involved.
No one knows.
All right, Steph, thank you so much for helping us find the hidden ingredients.
The hidden ingredients of your dead granny. All right.
See you later.
Good night.
Good night. And then we'll do the ending screen, interact, play. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That was Nora in Search of Hidden Ingredients with Stephanie, my co-host. Regular schedule is top left corner of the screen every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's about 2.5 hours ago in your time zone. We got the Steph Thursday stream, which is what you just watched, where we play hidden object games, puzzle games, that sort of stuff with my co-host Stephanie. Every Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific. That's about 4 hours ago in your time zone. We have the Solo Saturday stream, where I play random games from my review queue. We got the Discord. Join the Discord for updates to the schedule and any announcements for off-schedule streams. Let's see, where's the schedule? Here it is. Today's Thursday, so tomorrow, Friday, we are playing Ventilate, and then, which I don't know what the game's about. We'll find out together. And then Saturday, we're playing Rosewater with Kit Vesper, which was that Western point-and-click adventure game that we played last time. Look forward to that. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of Cat Parade while I look for something to raid.